Creations by Courtney here. We are now going to start on section 1. So if you did your gauge, you checked it, and you're right on point, maybe a little smaller, maybe a little larger, don't forget, change your hook size if you want your Shawldigan to be the same size as this. But if it's slightly off, it's not the end of the world. Just take out a few rows and change hook sizes, right? But if you did match, then the great thing about this gauge swatch, you just get to continue. You don't need to now frog it and start over or put it to the side. For section 1, we're going to complete rows 1 through 22. It's not a whole lot, but it's a way to get started. And then for the other sections, we'll be doing 23 through 43, and then finishing out the rest of the shawl for section 3 and the edging. And then you want to make sure that your Shawldigan is finished and that you submit a picture of you or anyone wearing it. I want to see your beautiful faces, I really do. But I want you to model it. That's why I do this. I want you to feel confident in what you're making. So make sure that you share your pictures in the Facebook group, Creations by Courtney Community. I'll have it linked below, as well as using the hashtag if you're posting on Instagram. I don't know how it works on TikTok. I guess you could post there, but like I said, I don't know how it works. But if you share on social media, don't forget to use hashtag Creations by Courtney, hashtag CBCCAL, hashtag Shawldigan. I'm so excited to see what y'all are coming up with. Like, this is so much fun. So let's go ahead and get started with section 1, where I'm going to continue from the first 10 rows that I created during the previous video of the gauge swatch. And if you need to catch up, definitely just hit pause until you have your first 10 rows together, and then we'll get started. Hey y'all, hopefully you have checked your gauge by now, which is completing the first 10 rows of the shawl. We did that in the first video. It will help to have some scissors handy. I did not cut the yarn previously, as you know, I mentioned I was thinking about changing the order. Cut a generous tail for weaving in later. And if your gauge matched for the first 10 rows, you can continue. If it did not, then you will need to frog, change your hook size, go up in hook size if it were too small, and go down in hook size if it were too big. Now, you can stick with it as long as you have enough yarn. Gauge is not critical, but it's there if you want it to be the exact same size listed within the pattern. To continue with section 1, we started with the second color. 4 rows will also be in this color. I had to count. So we will be repeating 10 and 11. So this was 10, and I'm going to show you row 11. You will turn your work, and as previously stated, you can do a chain 3 like so as your first double crochet, or you can do a chainless starting double crochet. So again, you pull up the loop, hold it in place, dip your hook down, and then back up to make a yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And each row will increase this in the same way, where you have 2 double crochets in the first double crochet space, then we increase at the chain 2, and then 2 double crochets in the chain space. And since we're doing the crossed stitch, you still have the spaces as before to work into. So we will make our 2 double crochet, and now now we're going to cross extended double crochet. So this is a space and this is a space. So we're going to make our first extended double crochet. You pull through 1, so that counts as a chain 1. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you're going to work into the space that was skipped between those double crochets. So you yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we just continue. So you skip 1 to make your first extended double crochet, and then you work into the previous one. And the stitches, you do work on top of it rather than working in front or behind to create a crossed V, like so. And since we are working in the previous cross extended double crochets, there is a slight shift, which just adds to the fun texture of the stitch. So we will continue to make cross extended double crochets until you are at the point. What you might notice is that when you get to the point, as we are here, it is tempting to work your last cross extended double crochet into this space and this space, but you're only going to use each space once unless it's the point. So just as in the previous row, you're going to skip this one. You're going to make your first extended double crochet into the chain 2 space, just like so, and then work into the space that was skipped. Okay, so we have the first part, right? So on the previous section, we had 26, so it's 13 on each side, and we should have 14 or 15. I'm trying to do math in my head, but we'll count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Right, so I was right the first time, 15. Because with the increase, that gives us a space to add 1 here, and then also here at the point. Now working into the same chain 2 space, make 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, all in that same space. And if you want a point to your point, you could do a chain 3. It just might impact the overall shape. Whereas right now, our edge is pretty straightforward. And if you wanted it to curve a bit more, you could make it increase in the first stitch and only do 1 in that first double crochet space between the stitches. Just a little tip. But in continuing with row 11, start here with the first double crochet space. Make sure you do an extended double crochet, and then working into the chain 2, you cross to make the second cross extended double crochet. And now we work here and here for the next one. You will continue in this pattern of working using the double crochet space until you get to the end of the row, where we will then make 2 double crochet in the last double crochet space and then a double crochet into the very last stitch. Alrighty, now that we are at the end, we're going to work in this space. The joys of yarn tails. Okay. And now you are left here. Wait a second. You may have to double check your placement. There we go. And there we go. Sorry, y'all. Now that you're towards the end, make sure that you are not working into the same space. So we're going to use this one and this one. And it's really easy to accidentally work into a double crochet space that you've already used, since you won't necessarily see the feet because of working over the top of it. So just double check it if you get to the end and you're like, wait a second, I have an extra space. That is why. So not working here, work here between the last two. Make your 2 double crochets. Trying to get that yarn tail out of the way. There we go. And pull if you need to so that you can find that 3rd chain or the top of the double crochet, the first double crochet. And just like that, you make your last double crochet. This is what we have so far. And this yarn is busy and it does take away from the texture a bit, but when you hold it up, you can definitely see the texture and the space. And as I was saying, you can mix yarn weights. Continue in this pattern for 2 more rows, and then we will change back to the main color and then create the next section and adding the second color. And whenever we change to a contrasting color, those are the rows that will be in the cross extended double crochet. So keep stitching, and I will check back in when it's time to change back to here. Alrighty, at this point you should be on row 14, and this is what we have so far. Isn't it so beautiful? Okay, let's come in for a close-up shot of that texture. Put the hook out of the way. So look at the texture of those cross extended double crochets. It's subtle, but wow, does it pack a punch, especially in using this fun variegated. You see some of the turquoise that matches with this blue. You see some brown, a little bit of copper, a touch of gray. Just absolutely stunning. So let's finish row 14, and then that means we change colors. We go back to the main color. Hopefully you have noticed, particularly at the point, it's a little more crowded because you have the cross stitches starting and ending on each side, plus your regular 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. This is done so that when you get to the end, you can get to the last space between stitches. This is where we make our increase. So we're going to make 2 double crochet, and then crochet into the last stitch. And I have switched over to doing chainless starting double crochets. I just like how it looks neater than the chain 3, but there's nothing wrong with doing the chain 3. So there we have it. That is the end of row 14. Let me see what I did with my scissors. I have some right here. So cut a reasonable tail. These are my old scissors. I gotta find my little snips in order to change colors. With the last one, I demonstrated again. You can do the traditional. I don't like to make a slip knot because it adds bulk, but you absolutely can. What I tend to do is yarn over the current color, add the second one, and you can pull through. And then I typically pull this color all the way through. So you can do a pull through like so, change to the next color with the last yarn over. I like to bring the tail up. You can still do your chain 3 or the chainless starting double crochet in the same way. Just like so. That is one option for the color change, or you can do it the way I showed it in the previous, where you actually, let me just demonstrate that now. So an alternative for changing the color is to, all right, when you get back to the last yarn over pull through, you have the loop, make it a little larger. Take your new color. I like to go from right to left since I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, you would go left to right, but I go through like I would stick the hook. Actually, no. Yes. Sorry. Had to think about that. That way, when I make my knot, like so, and you're not going to make it super tight right now, slide it down on top of the stitch, pull that tail all the way so it kind of pulls the knot on through a little bit. Well, wait, before we do that, excuse me. So before you pull it down, you'll yarn over with the new color, pull it through like a chain 1, then yank that tail. That way the knot gets pulled in. Now turn your work and proceed as written in the pattern. Typically with a color change, I do like to work over those tails at least once. So you have your chain 3 or chainless starting double crochet. Then make your increase working in this space here. And now we will just double crochet. Now you can work over the yarn ends, but honestly, it's going to be better to weave it in with a needle. And remember, you're going to work between the double crochets. And technically these are extended double crochets, but I think you catch the drift. Now, I did just say to work over the yarn ends. Watch what I'm about to do. So with this one, I'm going to start my double crochet, and then I'm going to bring that tail up and use it with the pull through 2. And I pull it all the way out. And this will keep it from running away. So just continue working in the double crochet space, which just refers to the space between 2 stitches rather than under the V. The point will always be the same, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in the chain 2 space. And that is pretty much the gist of section 1. How is it going so far? We have now completed row 17, which means we have started with color A, changed to color B, and then changed back to A. And every time we change the color means that we're going to alternate between double crochets and the double crochet space, and then doing a section of the cross extended double crochet. And now that we are at the end of row 17, we're now going to change to color C, or your third color. If you're using 3 colors, again, you may want to do one solid color, one variegated color. You can do whatever inspires you. So I really do like this knotted method. I mean, the traditional one works, but I don't know. This one's kind of fun with color changes at the edge. And just like before, cut a tail to weave in later. We're going to start with the next color. Turn our work. There we go. We got to get all the yarn tails in the right direction. Do a chain 3 or chainless starting double crochet. If you've made any of my patterns, you know that's my go-to. I just love it. We will now make an increase. And now for our first cross extended double crochet. So sometimes it helps to pull the stitches apart so you know where you're going to work. We're going to make the first extended double crochet here, then cross to work into the one skipped. I'm going to move the blue tail out of the way. Let's see. So I want to secure this. Yeah, we'll just do that. It's a little fiddly when you work with that end, so sometimes I pull it all the way through so I can clearly see it. And then I continue just like so. You want to catch it again and pull it through. And it's okay that there's a little bit sticking out. We'll take care of that later. So we have the first cross extended double crochet. Now we're going to work into the space that was skipped. Again, you work on top of the stitch, which gives it that texture in making a V-stitch. These are the next 2. Work here, then work into that one. And continue to the point. And like I've said before, the point is the same in each and every row. You'll absolutely develop a rhythm. And really, this is the gist of making section 1. Is that you will now do 5 rows of cross extended double crochets. And then change back to color A, which will be the start of section 2. I will check back in with you at the end so we can show off our progress so far. Don't forget to post your progress pictures in the Facebook group, Creations by Courtney Community, or anywhere on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and tag me, Creations by Courtney. Also do hashtag CBCCAL. That stands for Creations by Courtney Crochet Along. And then also hashtag Shawldigan. I know it's a mouthful, but I'll have it down below. You could just copy and paste when you decide to share. I want to see those progress pictures. Remember, keep working on it, because if you are done in time and you post a picture of you or any person wearing your finished shawl, that is your entry into the giveaway. So you will have to be finished by September 30th. All right. I hope you've gotten your rhythm for your cross extended double crochet, and we will come back together after we have finished this section before signing off and then moving on to section 2. So here we have it. After you have completed the first 22 rows, this is what you'll have. It really is a straightforward pattern where we are alternating the colors. We have color A, color B, color C. And so the next section will be in color A, but there you have it. And it's okay for it to curve, which means that I'll actually sit better once done. Yeah, just ignore all those yarn tails. But yeah, that's the end of section 1. And for section 2, we will continue with rows 23 through 43. Section 3 are rows 44 through 54 plus the edging. So I will see y'all soon. Keep stitching.